And so if you have any questions, feel free to put that in the chat. So I'll address them after my session is completed. Okay. For people who are new to Tricentis, so we are the leaders in terms of continuous test automation. So we have been recognized by major analysts like Gartner, Forrester, IDC as the leaders, and we have customer base for more than 2,100 plus, and we have about more than 200,000 certified professional across the globe as well. And in terms of partnership, we have different strategic partnership with different tech giants. And one specific topic which we are going to cover today is with SAP, where we have a very strategic partnership, which will help the SAP customers transform their, let's say, the transformation journey, or be it at any level of where they are in. How Tricentis can help in order to de-risk their complete transformation journey in there. So why did SAP choose us? So of course, I'm not going to go through every single point that is mentioned in there, but of course, as you know, we have footprints in all the different industries, and then we are one of the versatile platform in terms of continuous testing. And we cover not only just SAP, but more than 160 plus different technologies. And we are a platform which is really easy to use. Anyone who is new to automation will be able to use our platform with ease there. So that's the main reasons why SAP chose us as one of the official testing solution of theirs. And majorly, one of the important aspect there as well is about how Tricentis can address their end-to-end QA assurance for their complete, whether it is transformation or whether it's any different journey the any SAP customer is in, how Tricentis can help them in this. So that's something that is why SAP chose us as well. And with respect to end-to-end quality assurance, so you might have a question, why this is a topic now, why not before, and why not after, why currently? Because in today's world, as you know, that COVID has accelerated too many digital transformation across the globe. So you might wonder, in many of the CIO's books, digital transformation is something like a nice to have kind of topic, but now it has become like a real, let's say, one of the important topics which they have come into, because it is also important to their business transformation as well, because there is a lot of competition, and then from this COVID crisis, they have to recover, and then they have to innovate in this. And in terms of innovation, it is not just about what they are currently in, what they're going to innovate, and how they have to transform their business so they can survive in the market. So that's something why we are having this topic as a real, let's say, burning topic in the current world. And but if we really see down to the reality what SAP testing is currently, you might see that, or many of the folks in the call might probably agree with me as well, is because most of the SAP testing in the current world is majorly manual, and then it is completely business user driven as well. So it is like if it is going to be any releases, if it is going to be any new new innovations that is coming in, or if it is going to be any hypercare that is to be taken care, it's completely business users who are taking care of it. And since it is mostly manually driven, when we consider about innovation, it is a lot of changes that has to be introduced into the current model. And then this is becoming a bottleneck there, because since the manual processes are slowing down the complete quality assurance activities, it is really a challenging task for any business in order to transform. So that's the real reason why SAP is looking into a continuous testing model, where they can release faster, and then they can release with ease as well. And with respect to continuous testing, you might also see that these are different results, or these are different aspects that you see from different analysts as well. So they're also agreeing to what we claim, that continuous testing is one of the important aspect in terms of digital transformation as well. And if we take a particular business as an example, so let's take retail, right? Because this was the one industry which was majorly affected. Of course, there are a lot other industries which were affected because of COVID, but retail industry is such that it was completely closed, and then they had to come into a place where they had to make sure their business is coming into track. So they had to introduce a lot of different innovations, and which and one of the key aspect is basically customer experience. So when I say that, it can be either let's say 1 day delivery, or you can probably pick up your stuffs from the store. So there are different aspects to it. So for this innovations to come in, it is not just about let's say your complete core changing, but also your ecosystem that is getting changed. So when you think about, let's say, 1 day delivery, you have to have your strong omni-channel things in line, and then your delivery partner. So your complete logistics has to be aligned with, and then you have to sustain in the market, and then it's a complete ecosystem altogether that has to transform. So it is not just about a single core what we're talking about. So that's why the digital transformation is really important, and then continuous testing is a major part in this, because you have to release faster, and then you have to make sure that whatever aspects that you're going to have as a change should not have any impact on your business as well completely. And that's exactly what Tricentis is going to help SAP customers in order to deliver their business transformation. And and of course, it's not just a overnight task that, okay, you're innovating something and then tomorrow morning it's already there in a system. It's not that way, right? So it's a complete, let's say, step-by-step process. And then this requires continuous changes, and it also requires continuous innovation, where be it any stage of your business. So whether you're there at the S/4HANA transformation, or whether you're staying fit on ECC system, or whether you're getting ready in order to transform. So we, as a Tricentis portfolio itself, would help you in order to get this digital transformation journey as easy as possible. So this is what we are going to help, or this is what we are helping SAP as well as different customers across the globe. And this is what I'm going to showcase you today about a complete portfolio altogether. So when you consider any transformation journey or any quality assurance process as such, you might need to probably ask yourself, or you being a customer, or if you're partners, so you have to ask your customers in these three major questions, like what to test, what does it work, and then whether it's going to scale in production as well. So these are different aspects. And this is what we are going to answer with our different tool sets, which is change impact analysis, which is also famously called as life compare. And here we have ECT, or Tricentis Tosca, and you have DI, or data integrity testing, and you have performance testing, and which is also called as Neoload. And you might see there are different naming conventions there, because on the top you are seeing that this is again as a part of Solex. You have a slightly different naming convention, and then on the bottom you actually see what is undercover behind these tools as well. So just that you're not confused with whether these are different tools as well, if you already know these tools before. So on the first question, like what needs to be tested. So if you traditionally see in terms of how the testing was done, so it was majorly concentrated on the number of tests that you have executed, rather than the number of or the risk that you're covering as a part of your complete testing activities. So this is exactly what Life Compare is going to provide, is based on its risk AI, risk AI as a capability. It identifies what is most at risk in your capabilities. So it boils down to what is most at risk, which makes sure that you're reducing the testing capabilities by more than 85%. And then you're inverting basically the effort in terms of whatever the business users have spent in terms of identifying the impact of the changes. This is exactly what Life Compare is going to provide you. where you can see from the graph that you can basically invert the effort of what you're doing. And then it also makes sure that you have a risk-free transformation or risk-free change release in your complete QA activities as well. So this is exactly what LifeCompare can provide you. And then you can see from the customer base that it ensures that most of the risk, more than 90% of the risk, is completely covered. And then you can be absolutely sure that you don't have any major defects as you release your changes. So this is exactly what change impact analysis or LifeCompare is going to help you with. And I'll just give a glimpse about what are the different details that you get from LifeCompare as an output. So this is the first output which you get from LifeCompare. And you can see that this is just a bird's eye view about the complete different capabilities that you have in your SAP system. And on the tile blues is something which is most at risk, and on the gray ones is which is again the impacted ones. So this is again the first view that you get as a part of LifeCompare. And there are again different other views as well. So in terms of if you link this LifeCompare to your testing tool, for example, so it also helps you identify what is so for the most at risk capabilities, what LifeCompare has identified for you, it will tell you whether do you have test cases covering this most at risk, so which is termed as hits in here. And if you say that for the most at risk capabilities, what LifeCompare has identified, there is no test cases that is covering your QA activities, it will tell that you have basically gaps identified. So please also fill this gap. So this is something which LifeCompare also provides you or helps you with. And these are the graphs that you're seeing here. So on the first one, you're seeing the used, impacted, and most at risk capabilities. So you can see that more than 85% of the capabilities are reduced. And then you can see the impact of testing that you will have. Which will also help you in terms of accelerating your releases, having more releases and having more changes introduced into your system. And on the right side, you can see the charts coming from your testing tool. So here you can see the hits and gaps, which I explained before. And then in terms of whether it's a 𝗕𝗀𝘀𝗀 for a particular type of change, what is the impact, what is the coverage that you have, whether it's a 𝗕𝗀𝘀𝗀, what is the coverage you have, whether it's a web application, what's the coverage you have. So it can give you different aspects to that as well. And this is again the next powerful output you get from LifeCompare is a complete sheet where it tells you what are the capabilities that is most at risk. Like you can see here, 𝗂𝗎01, 𝗂𝗎11 which are again on the top of the list. And then there are different aspects that you can consider in order to get boiled down to most at risk here. And if we consider the first two rows as an example, the 𝗂𝗎01 and 𝗂𝗎11 as an example. So on the first step, you can see that for the 𝗂𝗎11, if I click on this impacted objects, I can get down into these different changes. So you can see for the first 𝗕𝗀𝘀𝗀, what you saw, 𝗂𝗎01, these are the changes that is impacting your transaction code. So you can see that whether it's going to be a standard SAP change or whether it's going to be any custom changes that you have introduced, it can tell you anything in there. But if you click on, so this is again hyperlinked into each of these changes because it will exactly tell you what is inside that. So if I have an example of this, if I click on this include level of change, so it is going to take me into this level of detail where it gives you what is the change even in terms of code level as well. So which will also give you an insight of what are the things that has been added. So this can be heavily used by the developers, for example. And it is not only just about that. So if I can take the last example as TBK, which is the table content changes, which is again one of the configuration changes that has been introduced. So if I click on this one, you would end up in a similar comparison where it tells you your table standard sales order table has been changed from, let's say, EMEA order to ZOR order. So you can also exactly know what is the data that needs to be supplied in order to test these different changes as well. And it has even more capabilities to that as well. So these are the details coming from your testing tool. So let's say for the test hits, what 𝘁𝗂𝗴 is identified for the same 𝑉𝑎01. If I click on this 4, it is going to take me to the next sheet where it says, okay, these are the test cases which is covering your most at risk capabilities, which is already available in your testing tool, which is Tricentis Tosca, what you're seeing here. And when I say these test cases, so these are the ready to use test cases which you can already run, and then see whether there is any changes that has happened in your whether there is any impact because of the changes that you have introduced. And then if I come back to the next one, which is the gaps, if you remember in the sheet as well, there was a 𝑉𝑎11 transaction for which we didn't have any test hits, which was basically blank, and which is also indicated in our requirement section, which exactly tells you, okay, these are the gaps that has been identified as a part of your impact analysis as well. So this is again some of the detailed information which 𝘁𝗂𝗴 can give you. And what I've showcased quickly, I know it is a very brief introduction on that, but you can see that there is a lot of different volumes of information that you can get. And this is just one app which I have showed in terms of 𝘁𝗂𝗴. So 𝘁𝗂𝗴 in itself has multiple different apps which can help you where like if it is code watch or if it is going to be any security impact analysis. So there are different other apps that is available as a part of 𝘁𝗂𝗴, which you can utilize from here. So this is basically what the first question about what to test will be answered by one of our solutions, which is Tricentis 𝘁𝗂𝗴, or in SAP terms, it is change impact analysis. So there are different customers who leverage this and then had a lot of different good things that they have implemented in their QA activities. One such example is what I'm showing here is from a food and beverage company. So which actually had their internal development, which was divided into several releases. And here, in order to analyze these changes, it was basically done by most of their business users altogether. So when they what they actually wanted is that they want to make sure whatever changes that is there is less amount of effort that is being spent. And also one of the major concern they had is that for the changes that is being pushed into their system, they were kind of unsure about the impact it had in the production as well. So what happened is after implementation of 𝘁𝗂𝗴, so they were able to substantially reduce the amount of testing scope as well, as I highlighted before. And also they achieved something where they had upfront knowledge about the impact it had based on the different transactions what they had. And then their business users also achieved this part where they were able to, in an ad hoc way, run these impact analysis. And even for a smaller changes what they implemented, they were able to identify the impact that it had in the complete system as well, what they had. So this is one of the example what I can show, but there are different customers who had different journey in terms of 𝘁𝗂𝗴, which if you are interested, you can also see that in our website, which you will be able to get. So this is the first question which one of our portfolio is answering. And the next question is about, does it work? And to answer this, if you again go back to the traditional way of testing, you might wonder. So there is less amount of automation that is there, and then even in that, most of the testing tools around was again script based. So people were kind of not able to cover the complete end to end, and the maintenance was too much. And so there are certain point solutions which were there, which was covering a particular technology. So these were the bottlenecks they had in terms of automation. But in terms of having Tricentis Tosca or our Tricentis Tosca solution, so you will be able to automate any application, not only just SAP, but the complete end-to-end more than 160 plus technology using our automation product, and it is very well DevOps enabled as well. It has AI capabilities which can help you in order to automate complex scenarios, like for example, the applications which are sitting in Citrix machines, for example. And these are the different things which you can achieve from our automation tool. And you can see from the customer, so with this automation rate, they were able to achieve more than 90% of their portfolio complete, their regression sets, for example, completely automated. And they were able to increase the release cycles as well, increase the release frequencies as well in this case. So if you consider our automation product in itself, which is our ECT solution, or Tricentis Tosca, so you can see it works on a technology called model-based test automation, which makes it completely scriptless. So anybody new to automation will be able to use this tool. And as I said, it has a wide range of technology coverage. So it just not only gives you the flexibility to automate, but also other optimization features, like you can use risk-based testing, which exactly tells you at a particular point what is the risk in order to release your application. Or you can even use your test data management solution, which helps you in order to eliminate redundancy in your test cases. And there are again other features, like if you want to run it overnight, you have your distributed execution feature. And if you want to link it with your delivery pipeline, for example, you can also link it with Jenkins, Bamboo ADO, any different pipeline tooling altogether. And if there is any third-party applications which you would like to virtualize, we also have our feature OSV, which can help you in order to completely virtualize those services, which makes your testing uninterrupted, for example. So these are the different features that you get as a part of having Tricentis Tosca. And it is, as I said, completely scriptless and easy to use as well. So there are, of course, again, multiple different customers whom I can give as an example, but here is one example where it is a telecommunication customer, where who had about, let's say, they were having a lot of different tools in their tool set. And they had different agile teams who was using this. And then it was really impossible for them to have a synergy between different teams. And then they had these point solutions, because initially these tools were just covering one particular technology. And once they implemented Tosca in there, so they were able to actually automate their complete end-to-end landscape. And then within a span of 6 months, having like around 10 testers, they were able to automate more than 80% of their complete regression set in there. And this gives an enormous savings for them, and they increase their automation rate by more than 60% or so. So this is exactly one customer again who implemented Tosca in their portfolio. And the next question is about the data factor. So the next two questions, like whether it's data, is your data correct? And then the next one is whether it's going to scale, is what I consider is a underestimated topic. But the impact it will have in your production is too huge in my point of view, because you can see on the first one, the data is something which is not checked that very frequently, or it is mostly a manual process, where it is tested or it is checked when it is injected into different systems. So it is checked. It is completely a slow or a manual process. So because of this, if you consider a small data impact that it might have, you can see that this is a complete enterprise landscape that you have. Let's say that your data is impacted in one of the middle stages, and see the impact it will have in your production as well. So it is huge. So like for example, if it missed a dot in a different place, you will see the impact of dollars it will have in the bill of materials what you're going to supply as well. So this is really a huge topic, and this is exactly what we help SAP and other different customers in order to test the complete end-to-end data changes, which is transforming from different tools altogether. And you might probably ask, okay, SAP in itself has multiple different point solutions, which can help you in order to get this data validated. True, but what impact it has is that for a particular tool set, it is very nice. But when it has to transform from one particular stage into an end-to-end stage, it is not validated. There is a real gap that it is putting in there, so which is actually a lot of risk in terms of your transformation journey. So this is exactly what our DI solution can give you. So you can see a glimpse of consequences that you can expect when there is a data discrepancy there. So if your CIO is sitting at the end viewing your Tableau chart or anything of that, if there is a particular thing that is missed, you will not even know where the mismatch has happened, and then it will have a huge impact monetarily as well, and then in terms of time as well. And these are the different examples what you see from there. And this is exactly what our DI solution would help you de-risk your complete data as a whole journey. And this is exactly our DI solution works as well. So with again our model-based approach, you can already create different DI validation scripts, and this is again completely scriptless. As I told, this is again integrated with our Tosca solution, and you can already create like more than like for example 150 different test cases in order to cover more than million rows here. So this will run in like 15 minutes. So within like 15 to 20 minutes, you will probably be validating different amount of rows in there, and it can also tell you the gap that it has found during this analysis as well. So this is exactly how it works, and then it is a continuous process altogether. So you can easily create these scripts. You don't need to be an SQL expert or anything of that sort. You can easily create all these scripts by using our DI solution. And one such example is Mercedes-Benz. What I have here is because they, as Mercedes-Benz as a company in itself, had too many data that is coming from a different systems, and then this was again injected into their BW bank data, and then the main drawback they had was that these data were manually reviewed, so it was always in a risk that it might have some issues. And it is not the case that okay, there are lots of billions of different datas, maybe 10% can go wrong. So it was not the case. So they had zero tolerance towards data loss as well. And then they also wanted this to be a part of a CI/CD pipeline. So using our DI solution, they were able to integrate, they were able to create and verify more than 1 billion rows in like, let's say more than 150 test cases or so. And then they were able to execute that within their required time. So they were able to save a lot of time, and then they were able to release in confidence as well in terms of data. So this is again one example for TI. And then the last question which we discussed is about how does it scale in your production. And this is also again one traditional thing what we had is when we consider performance, it was always towards the end, because firstly it is as I said, underestimated, and secondly the tools which were there is again let's say hard to use, or it was again costly, different environment altogether in order to set this up. So with our EPT or our NeoLoad solution, you can already create, whether it's code or without code, you will be able to create your performance testing use case. You can also easily link with your CI/CD pipeline. We have load generators which you can easily help in order to scale up the different users. And then it supports multiple different technologies as well in this case. And by this, you can already shift left your performance testing. You can already have it even at the API level in order to test all these different changes, and then the impact of the performance that is having in your SAP system as well. So this is something which you can get from our EPT solution. And as I said, it supports all the different SAP technologies, and then it's completely no code as well. And one advantage you get here in terms of using our complete portfolio altogether is that, let's say for example, you have your functional test, which is designed as a part of your Tosca solution. within a single click, you can then convert this functional test case into a performance testing use case, and then you can then generate all the different loads in neoload as well from there. So this is again one of the accelerator you get when you use Tricentis Tosca in conjunction with our neoload solution, which is a kickstart which you can get from there. So and one of the customer example which I wanted to showcase here is the Football Association, because previously they had their let's say legacy system, which was really hard to let's say handle the registration process. So it took like about more than 2 to 3 minutes for them in order to have their registration done because of the latency issues. So the management decided to go into a cloud way of working, and then from this they wanted to avoid the failures that is going to come up as a part of this. So here neoload was implemented even at the earlier stages, even at the implementation level, and they were able to even scale the a simulation of users from 250 users to more than 4,000 users, which made sure that it was performant enough even at the production level. And then they were able to reduce the registration time even from minutes to less than 10 to 15 seconds there. So this was the advantage which they got from introducing neoload into their portfolio. And these are again the different questions and then the different tools that can answer from Tricentis as a complete portfolio itself. And in general, as I said, you can be in any different journey altogether, whether you're you're sitting on the ECC side of a business, or even on the S4 side of business, or you are going to transform into S4HANA, or you are planning to transform to S4HANA. So we'll be able to help you in any different stages altogether by reducing the risk factor by more than 90%, and which also accelerates the testing time, and by which you will be able to have more releases and then more innovation implemented into your platform as well. So this is Tricentis and then the complete platform altogether. And this is exactly what I wanted to present today in brief. And thanks for listening to me. And I know, of course, I have provided a lot of information. If you want me to deep dive into any of these, please feel free to reach out to Brightest team or to me. We'll be able to help you to have a deeper session in all these tools as well.
Thank you so much, Sriram. I saw already a few questions passing by in the chats. Maybe you can open it too.
Sure, let me see that.
Or I can read them if you want.
Okay, there is a question that are you scaling LiveCompare to more enterprise tools like Salesforce, Oracle, etc.? Yes, so there is different pipeline that we're planning in. So for Salesforce, we have this is already at the tech preview phase, which you can already use from as a part of the new releases from LiveCompare, and this is planned for GA this year. And you will see that already. And then we have pipeline for ServiceNow and other different packaged apps as well.
Thank you.
So identify the SAP data, something, automate different processes, SAP transactions, always a challenge.
Yes, so I will read the question. So identify the SAP data is one thing. Automating different processes is always a challenge. How do you see this tool handling this?
So so this data and then the automation tool is working in conjunction together. So the Tosca solution, what I showed, you can already automate the different processes, like whether it's going to be VA01 or any different transactions altogether. You will be able to automate that using functional way. And then with DI, you can make sure that the data which is getting transformed can be validated together. So this is working in conjunction, and then you can have these scripts together running in a different, let's say, end-to-end automation as well, which can also validate the pre-data that is getting injected, and then the complete processes altogether. and then you can also see that how it has transformed at the end of the tool. So you can have these tools in conjunction together.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. I think the next question is from the same person. So the data will be extracted via SAP. Can you also explain something about the security of the data?
We have data security impacts in as a part of 𝘂𝗂𝗀𝗴 itself. So, for example, if there is any changes that is there, you can also integrate it with. You can also integrate 𝘂𝗂𝗀𝗴 with Solution Manager, by which you can also get the security impact analyzed because of this. So, as I said, so 𝘂𝗂𝗀𝗴 is not just about impact analysis. It also has different other modules, like you have a particular module for SAP migration. You can also have a module for SAP upgrades, for example. So you have different other modules as well. So one such module is impact of security, security roles in there. So you can also check that in this case. And as a security as a topic in itself, we might probably have something which is coming up soon.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. So Arvid and Erwin, are your questions answered?
Yeah, here Erwin on this side. Yes, one thing, but my question was also related. I think is in general when you're extracting data from an ERP system outside the organization, call it like that. That was one of my things. Then I assume that this data will be available in that tool. So one of the things is indeed answered that people, you can hide via authorizations the data for different persons, but also regarding you extract data from your ERP system to another tool, what you're proposing that, how you're seeing that. I think it's a hot item at this moment at each organization, bridges. That was a little bit my concern. If you extract the data, we call it transactional data in SAP. What is the best practice for that, or how you're seeing that? But that was more my question. Do you work that the data will be removed after a certain moment, or that was a little bit more related to that, because you extract the data?
So this probably I can answer to you after the session. So I'll have to get back to my TI expert on this. So I'll get this question for sure answered. I'll have your email ID noted. So I'll get this question answered for you.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any more questions for Sriram? You can either type them in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask it.
So my question will be on the same side that 𝘂𝗂𝗀𝗴 will be extended. So my company is most focused in the retail domain, more of ISFCC side, which is Salesforce Commerce Cloud. How we can more do the impact analysis on the Salesforce side, on the Commerce Cloud side. So if I can get the answer separately, it will be good. Or yeah.
So as I said, this is currently on the tech preview mode for you. So if you want more detail, I can send it to you offline. So how this will work, and then how if there is any roadmap, I can also provide you that.
Yeah, please. That will help us.
Thank you for the question. There's somebody new joining. Here is another question. Can you get a training in SAP data and SAP performance? What Tricentis is offering?
Yeah, so we have a platform in itself which is called Tricentis Teachable, where you can get all these trainings for free. And so here you have different role-based certifications. You have your basic ones, you have your advanced ones as well. So you can get all these certifications from here.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there are any more questions after this session, you can always, there's another one. We will just quickly do this one still. Is Tosca compatible with Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations?
Yeah, we support MS 365, should not be a problem.
Great. Okay, so we wrap up here. If there are any more questions, you can still ask them later by sending me or Sriram a question afterwards. Let me just quickly show you where to contact us. So here are the contact details. So in any case of any question afterwards, you can always contact me. I can forward any question to Sriram, and then we will answer all your questions. So thank you all for participating, and hope to see you next time in one of our next brown bags. Please follow our LinkedIn webpage so you keep up to date. And then I hope to see you next time too. Thank you, Sriram, again. It was very interesting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for joining.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.